We are right on top of a brand new all-time high on Bitcoin. So I want to be going straight into the live price action here, talking you through exactly what I'm seeing. Is there a short trade lining up? And I know some people are going to be out with their pitchforks. How on earth is Daniel talking about another short trade in this bull market? Well, I'm going to be talking about another short trade. Of course, I hope you already know my answer, but I will answer the question nevertheless. Is there a long trade to be had now? I'll give you my thought process on that. And first of all, is there a swing failure pattern, which is a bearish short trade setup on Bitcoin from the all-time high? Because there's going to be, a little bit of complexity to that as well. So I think you're going to absolutely love this video. Please listen carefully. Don't trade off of a title. Don't trade off of what you might read here and there or everywhere. Listen carefully to the technical analysis, and I will present that in a very professional way for you all. So first of all, saying, is there a short trade right now if you have been very aggressive from a swing failure pattern of the all-time high? And my opinion to this is yes, you could absolutely be in a short trade right now. Again, does that mean short here at $110,000? No, you had to have an absolute pinpoint entry at the high, but if you did get one, well, congratulations, that short is in profit. And why is this a complex swing failure pattern short trade entry? Well, when you actually look at the Bybit chart, this daily's being tapped, so I will remove it. When you look at the Bybit chart here, you missed the all-time high by about $20. Okay, this was a ever so slight front run of the all-time high by about $20. But when you look, for example, at the Coinbase chart, you will see, bam, brand new all-time high SFP. When you look at the CME chart, bam, swing failure pattern of the all-time high. So you've definitely seen that liquidity taken on several big exchanges. And this is what I mean. If you are very aggressive and you're trading alongside that, well, you could have, even if you're trading on Bybit, you could have shorted a swing failure pattern of all-time high, understanding it got that reaction only on the CME, much like that trade that you could have had back on the 3rd of July when you took out these highs. Okay, so you took out these highs on the 3rd of July on the CME, and when you look at the Bybit chart, you never took out those same highs, right? So when you took out these highs, you missed it on the 3rd of July, whereas on the CME, you took out those highs, you got a larger pullback. So it's a similar situation. You have swing failure patterns. The all-time high on the CME hasn't happened on Bybit, but just as you could have shorted on the 3rd of July, you could have shorted today based off of the CME taking out that liquidity. So again, a little bit of a complex trade. And again, I do think you had to have a good entry there and around $112,000. I wouldn't really look to long it now at short now at $110,000. Again, you're a little bit late. Much like yesterday, I took a short trade on Bitcoin. Price come down, hit my take profit one. And again, would I advocate shorting at $108,000 where we were talking about $108,000 would have been around here? Of course, no, we wouldn't advocate shorting after we've already seen a $1,000 move to the downside. But if you get some good high entries, it's absolutely fine. And this is what I want to emphasize really quickly for you all. This was posted around 8 hours ago today. I was in a short trade yesterday. Of course, I hit the take profit one on that short trade. The rest of the trade got stopped out as my stop loss was moved to break even, entry price. Right, no problem. It's still a profitable short trade scalp. We then look for a new setup, which was more of a bullish day today. But it's these small daily wins, they do add up over time. So trading isn't about hitting the home runs every time. You're not always going to get these epic trades that run for 10, 20%. A lot of the time you'll get a trade 0.5%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 0.5%, and then a big win. Okay, but it's not every day you get those home runs. And so yesterday I was in a short trade. A lot of people are, oh, Daniel was in a short trade, ha 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 ha. Well, that was a profitable trade, right? That was a profitable trade, and that's what we're after, profits. Again, like I said yesterday, it's not about being right or wrong, it's about making profits. That's the game. Take your trade, take profits, protect your capital, hunt the next trade setup. Small, consistent wins beats forced trades and big losses every time. So that's like what I'm emphasizing now. If you took the short at the all-time high there on the swing failure pattern on the CME, you're in profits. You can lock in a take profit one, protect your capital, protect the trade. If it goes to a new all-time high, which I think is likely, you still won your short trade scalp. And, whatever anyone might say, your profit at the end of the day, and it doesn't really matter what people say. That's what I would say. So answering the question, is there a short trade right now here at 110? In my opinion, no. You know, if we were talking about half an hour ago while you were at $112,000 on the swing failure pattern of the CME, yes, I think you had an acceptable scalp short entry there for sure. Would I short here at 110? No. And so then to answer the question of what I was saying earlier, do I think you have a long trade here? Well, my answer for that is also no. Why is that? Well, again, you're up 2%, nearly 3% on the day at the highs. You've just seen a very, very, very large move to the upside. You have, you know, on some exchanges, just swing failure pattern, the all-time high. You know, this for me is not a long trade. And again, like I was saying in yesterday's technical analysis, I still have long trades open from lower. Okay, so I'm not in a position where I need to be FOMOing in up at the highs, scrambling into longs, right? I still have a long open from around the lows, and from last week I still have my long from $105,200 open. You know, I've had zero reason to close even that long. So it comes to a position of, you know, if you are in these advantageous positions, well, you are not, you're not going to have any FOMO anyway because you've already got longs open. But even if you have no long trades open, you still have to try and control that emotional urge to just try and long after every impulsive move to the upside, right? It doesn't pay out over time. Again, could we just do this right now? Continue and hit a brand new all-time high? Yes, absolutely you could. You can say that's the highest probability. Doesn't mean it's a good long trade entry, right, though. So you do want to wait for a pullback. And so I would, you know, and again, this might take a few days to happen, but I would still be waiting for a larger pullback to the downside before I take a long, or that's at least my opinion today. What does that mean? Well, for example, let's say we do something like this, and, you know, over the next few days, we're trading, you know, up here around $113,000. Well, in a few days' time, where we have a lot more new price action, would I say at this point, well, I'm still going to look for a long at $107,000? Well, no. With that new few days of data, I'm going to have a support level, for example, at $112,000. So I'd look for that more local pullback for continuation, right? It's just that understanding that what I'm waiting for now is based off the price action data that I have now. That's going to change even by tomorrow. So I absolutely will be looking for a new trade tomorrow. And if you're interested in that, of course, tomorrow morning, I will do a live stream for the members going over Bitcoin and going over the next lower term time frame trade setup, right? It's a daily stream that we do every single day. So if you're interested, you know where to get that. But for this YouTube video, I just wanted to analyze the order flow as well. What did we see at this all-time high? We saw a little bit of longs opening up at around 111, but at the actual all-time high itself, it was all decreases of open interest. So you did not really get any new longs opening above the all-time high, as you can see here. They were opening up around 110, 111. Okay, around 13 mil. But on the actual all-time high itself and the subsequent pullback, all decreases of open interest. So I would say, you know, I lean this more neutrally bullish. Okay, so I would say it is likely that we see another new all-time high, and that's why, you know, I wouldn't be too aggressive shorting now at 110. But I've seen this many times, you know, many times, and it's very similar to what we saw on the 3rd of July. When we get these moves off the CME, yes, you can get the pullback. So, I mean, we're already seeing that, right? Yes, you can get the pullback, but it's not a pullback that we would expect to last, you know, for the next months, right? It's more one that we see the pullback, but overall, we do expect another new all-time high to come. Just like here, when you took this liquidity only on the CME, yeah, you got a bit of a pullback, but, you know, my bias has always been the same. Even though I have taken a few short trades over the past few days, scalp trades, lower term time frame trades, I've took a few short trades, but my medium higher term time frame bias has always been bullish. Right? I've said this clear in every single video that I've been making. My higher term time frame bullish has always been expecting new all-time highs. And that's what you have to understand. I can take scalp trades, day trades, even a potential swing trade against the bigger trend, against my overall bullish bias. If I get a good short trade, I will take it. But I know that short trade is likely to get stopped out, thus the importance of locking in that quick take profit one, moving stop loss to entry, because I don't want to be in a position where I'm taking loads of short trades, I'm not even looking or in any long trades, you know, because then I'm trading against the higher term time frame trend and my bias, which has been bullish for months now. You know, that would not make a lot of sense. And so I do feel like pity, I suppose, or understanding of it's hard for sometimes traders to understand, oh, how can I be taking a short trade when the market's so bullish? And it's that understanding of, like, even right now, that you can get very good short trades. Right? If you got the swing failure pattern of all-time high, if you got an epic short trade here, like, why would you not take it, sort of thing? It's a good trade. Like, that trade is going to be in profits whatever happens next. And so it's also the understanding of that's a scalp short, but the bigger, higher term time frame trend and probabilities is still new all-time highs. So, final words here before I end it. I just wanted to do a really quick analysis to explain the swing failure pattern, how it's only happened on, Coinbase CME, how that, yes, is likely to get a reaction, as we've already got, but I do not think it holds, indefinitely. I do think another new all-time high comes. Would I short here at 110K? No, but personally not. But would I long here as well? No, personally not. I would still be waiting for a larger retracement to the downside unless we get a few days of, really acceptance above the previous all-time highs. Then we're going to start to see new trade setups form. So yeah, really, I think this requires, 12 hours cool down. Let's review in the morning tomorrow on stream exactly what we got going on, what's happened, and where are the next setups. For now, I would say this is FOMO central. Taking a long here is not my preferred scenario. So I will wait out 12 hours, wake up, see how tomorrow London opens, and maybe we get aggressive long trade if we've held above $110,000 overnight. Alternatively, yeah, we can still wait for the bigger retracement. I will play it here. I'll be on my toes, of course. I emphasize, I do feel it is a high probability that we are going to hit a new all-time high on Bybit as well. So I still think higher prices come, but that doesn't mean I'm going to long here at $111,000. I'll remain sensible, patient. Again, still have my longs from lower, so there's no FOMO in that regards. So yeah, this was just a quick analysis to remind you of these very important tips. Take your profits, move on to the next trade. Don't marry a trade. And yeah, explaining through that swing failure pattern and how it's happened once again on the CME. Hope that was helpful. Thank you ever so much. And for a bigger, full, in-depth analysis tomorrow morning for the champion members, that's what you'll see me. Cheers, everybody. Thank you. And that's me signing out. Goodbye.